Can I read you guys something? I read this to my friend the other day. I couldn't get through it without crying, so I might, but just ignore me. I really, when I was reading it, I was thinking about you, Michael. I don't know if you've ever read A Hidden Life by George MacDonald, but in the story, he meets a girl in the beginning, and she falls off her horse, and saves her, and he's just struck by her beauty, and but he never has a relationship with her. He never sees her again. But he describes that encounter as her throwing open the doors of enchantment to the whole
Yeah.
world. Suddenly everything changes. Okay. And then he gets tuberculosis and he's dying. And he writes her this letter. Okay. Never met her since.
Mhm.
Lady, I owe thee much. Stay not to look upon my name. I write it, but I date from the churchyard. So he's already dead when she gets the letter. Thou knowest me not at all, nor dared I write, but death is crowning me thy equal. If my boldness yet offend, low pure in my intent, I am with the ghosts. When thou comest, thou hast already known. God equal makes up first, and death at last. But pardon, lady, before I had begun, my thoughts moved towards thee with a gentle flow that bore a depth of waters. When I took my pen to write, they rushed into a gulf precipitate and foamy. Can it be that death, who humbles all, has made me proud? Lady, thy loveliness has walked my brain, as if I were thy heritage bequeathed from many sires. Yet only from afar I have worshipped thee, content to know the vision had lifted me above myself, who saw and taken my angel nigh thee in thy heaven. Thy beauty, lady, hath overflowed and made another being beautiful, with virtue to aspire and be itself. Afar as angels or the sainted dead, yet near as loveliness can haunt a man. Thy form hath put on each revealing dress of circumstance and history, high or low, in which from any tale of selfless life, essential womanhood has shone on me. This is where it gets hard to read. 10 years have passed away since the first time, which was the last I saw you. What have these made or unmade in thee, I ask myself. O lovely, in my memory art thou. Are you as lovely in yourself? Your glory, then, was what God made you. Are you such indeed? Forgive my boldness, lady, I am dead. The dead may cry, their voices are so small. I have a prayer to make thee, hear the dead. Lady, for God's sake, be as beautiful as that white form that dwells in my heart. Yea, better still, as that pure ideal that wakes in thee when thou prayest to God, or helpest thy poor neighbor. For myself I pray, for if I die and find that she, my woman glory, lives in common air, is not so very radiant after all, my sad face will afflict the calm-eyed ghosts, unused to see such rooted sorrow there. With palm to palm, my kneeling ghost implores thee, living lady, justify my faith in womanhood's white-handed nobleness, and thee its revelation unto me. But I bethink me, if thou turn thy thoughts upon thyself, even for that great sake of purity and conscious whiteness' self, thou wilt but half succeed. The other half is to forget the former, yea, thyself, quenching thy moonlight in the blaze of day, turning thy being full unto God. Be thou in him a pure twice holy child, doing the right with the sweet unconsciousness, having God in thee, thy completing soul. Lady, I die. The Father holds me up. It is not much to thee that I should die. It may be much to know he holds me up. I thank thee, lady, for the gentle look which crowned me from thine eyes 10 years ago. Before, clothed in nimbus of the setting sun, thee from my dazzled eyes thy horse did bear, proud of his burden. My dull tongue was mute. I was a fool before thee, but my silence was the sole homage possible to me then. That now I speak, and fear not, is thy gift. The same sweet look be possible to thee, and forevermore. I bless thee with thine own, and say farewell, and go into my grave, no, to the sapphire heaven of all my hopes. You know, he actually implores her, or wants her to aspire to the thing that God made her, this essential womanhood, right? That threw open the doors of the world for him. I don't know. It just kills me whenever I
Well,
read that.
I
Okay,
think
so
you're
let me see if this works with you, Sherry. So what listening to what you just read, what I want to relate that to, that's a concept that Tom talks about in this chapter, where he talks about that how the moral memory, love,
Uh,
um, will ensure that anything that is of eternal value is not lost.
mm,
So that's his faith, I think. Like, it's like he has faith that even though nothing came of it in this life, that was of eternal value
mhm.
and will therefore not be lost.
what you're describing. I mean, in other terms, I mean, this is everybody experiences this, right?
Uh-huh.
That's the call of Sophia. I mean, it
Right,
could
that's
be
right.
through
That's it.
seeing a girl for a young
Uh-huh.
man, girl. I mean, something, a revelation of beauty or of truth or something that is bigger than the thing you're looking at, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm gonna. Do you mind if I bust out some prose poetry right here
Do it.
No.
from
Go for
Czesław
it.
Miłosz? You guys know him?
Yes.
I've heard the
Polish
name.
poet. I think, he's one of the greatest poets of the 20th century. But his poem Essa, which is Latin for is or to be,
Yeah.
touches exactly on the same thing you described from George MacDonald. And it's not that long, so I'll just read it. I looked at that face, dumbfounded. The lights of metro stations flew by. I didn't notice them. What can be done if our sight lacks absolute power to devour objects ecstatically in an instant, leaving nothing more than the void of an ideal form, a sign like a hieroglyph simplified from the drawing of an animal or bird? A slightly snub nose, a high brow with sleekly brushed back hair, the line of the chin. Why isn't the power of sight absolute? And a whiteness tinged with pink, two sculpted holes containing a dark, lustrous lava. To absorb that face, but to have it simultaneously against the background of all spring boughs, walls, waves, and its weeping, its laughter, moving it back 15 years or ahead 30, to have is not even a desire. Like a butterfly, a fish, the stem of a plant, only more mysterious. And so it befell me that after so many attempts at naming the world, I am able only to repeat, harping on one string, the highest, the unique avowal beyond which no power can attain. I am.
Mm,
She is.
mm. I was just gonna say.
Shout, blow the trumpets, make thousand strong marches, leap, rend your clothing, repeating only is.
Mhm.
She got out at Raspeo. I was left behind with the immensity of existing things. A sponge suffering because it cannot saturate itself. A river suffering because reflections of clouds and trees are not clouds and trees.
Yeah, when you're reading that, I wanted to say God sees things as they are. This is one of the main things that MacDonald pushes, right? And it's not the, oh, he sees them as depraved and defiled and sinful. He sees she is, I am, he is, right? It's all that. And that's precisely what MacDonald is saying here, or this young man is writing to her. I see you. I hope you see you.
Right.
Right. And in the end, at the end of the poem, months later, some little boy with his cow sees this woman in a churchyard weeping, right? And she has this letter in her hand. And we don't know what happened to her life. He doesn't know. And every now and then in the poem, he thinks about her, and he thinks, oh, has she gone down that road? Oh, I can't think about it because she has this sacred place, and she made the whole world sacred to him, right?
And I would say, to go back to our theme, both of those literary examples are examples of resurrection.
Yes. Yes. That's
They're
beautiful.
bringing to life, right? They're bringing the dead to life.
Right. That's right.
That's
Yeah.
wow,
It's
wonderful.
interesting. Tomberg is interesting though, because he says that he calls the resurrection a synthesis of life and death.